Okay, so in the last session with this radio, it operated for a long period of time. I'm not sure how long, half an hour, 45 minutes, while I did an alignment and fiddled around with it. And I was getting very happy. The alignment had proved valuable. Starting to sound like a pretty good radio, even though I've stuck a 12 BE6 into it, when I'm pretty sure, at least how sure can I be, that it's looking for a 6 BE6. So here I am looking at this radio again. It's not on. I've tipped it up on its side in anticipation of what we're going to have to do. Now here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking I'm gonna turn this on and it's going to work fine. And if I let it play long enough, it will once again break into a hum. And that's all based on my unfounded guess that... sorry, just a little bit distracted there at what I'm seeing. My unfounded guess that the problem is caused by some thermal expansion type situation, which everybody's kind of familiar with. So something got hot enough that something happened to it. Now, it could be a tube, very easily be a tube. That's... For this kind of thing, that's well, all we can do is try again. That's what I'm getting at, I guess. Sorry, I'm thinking and talking at the same time. It's too much for my little brain circuits here. So let's turn on the radio and see if it hums right away. Okay, now we're switching it on with current limiting. That's 105.6 volts, 105, 104, 103, 2, 100, and going down below the scale on my meter. It's going to level out around 95 volts or something like that. Well, I don't hear a hum. Maybe that's a pretty good start. Okay, let's put it up on full voltage. As usual, voltage is pretty high, 123. Boy, that's really interesting. You know, that my high hydro voltage in Ontario and maybe most of Canada, we tend to call a power company a hydro company, since originally the electricity was generated using hydroelectric power. So that's what I mean when I say hydro. I just really mean the power coming to the house. My supply voltage is 123 normally. Sometimes even a little higher. And that's actually out of range. I think the official standard is 120 at the top. So the utility, should it become aware of this voltage, it would be compelled to take action to drop it. Now, why would it be 123? I used to work for a power company for over 25 years. And this kind of high voltage is unusual. Well, you know, I live very close to a nuclear power plant, as I said before, but there's something else I live very close to, and that's a very large windmill. It's kind of a demonstration, public relations, government-funded kind of thing. It was put up 4 years ago, I guess, somewhere around there, 4 or 5, maybe longer. And it is a big one. When it went up, I believe it was the biggest in North America in terms of power output. 1.3 megawatts is its maximum output power. That's a whopper of a windmill. Now, today's standards, maybe that's not so whopperish. It's still a big one. There's no matter how you. But anyway, they put this thing up right next to the nuclear plant, and its power doesn't go into the nuclear plant and then on its way into the general power system. Its power is delivered at medium voltage. That would be 13.8 kV, 13,800 volts, right into my neighborhood. So in a very real sense, my house is connected to that windmill. Now, of course, it's also connected to the rest of the electric system because everything is essentially paralleled through this wild geographic network that carries the electricity everywhere. But if you want to push electricity into a system from a generator in an arrangement like this, the only way that the electricity will flow from the in this case windmill generator is if it's at a higher voltage than the system voltage. If the system voltage, and this is not a set number, this is a complicated thing I'm talking about, it's different all over the place, but if let's put it this way, if you took away the windmill and read the voltage on the primary lines around my neighborhood, let's say you read exactly 13,800 volts, let's just say it's exactly where it should be. Well, you spin up that windmill and set its output voltage to 13,799 volts, 1 volt below that, which of course you couldn't do, but if you could, just for the sake of my argument, then that windmill couldn't push any power out. It has to push the power out at a voltage higher than the system into which it's feeding. So I wonder if that's why my house voltage is always high. Now, that windmill is not spinning all the time. In fact, windmills like that, in a situation like this, it's on the shore of Lake Ontario, so it gets some constant wind, but often I see it not spinning at all. So it's not, I shouldn't say constant wind, but there's a fair bit of wind available. About 10% efficiency would be really, really good. So most of the time it's loping out there. It's certainly not going at its full power capability, certainly not. But even at the loping speed, they can set the output voltage to cause, and I don't know how all this is done. I didn't work in that part of the power industry at all. I worked at the other end of it where the wires and cables were reaching consumers. But they could just crank the voltage up a little bit and it would put more power into the system. I really don't understand it 100%. Anyway, that's an awful lot of talk about the line voltage in my house. Back to the radio that we've just been staring at the whole time I've been talking away here. Still not humming. Okay, I'm putting on the signal generator. Just seeing if it, by some chance, everything is still tuned the way it was. Something's not quite right up here. odd, but then just fiddling with my equipment up here, and my signal generator, or my frequency counter, seemed to have gone a little nuts. But it's okay now, so whew. That was it there. Well, this is pretty much exactly where we were last time when the hum redeveloped. So this time, what I would do is switch the band switch while the hum is going and see if it goes away. Try to identify if the hum is in the audio section or being introduced further up in the radio. If the hum was a tube, I've got the radio on its side now. Geometries and all that kind of stuff being what they are, and we're talking about the tiniest variations here. Maybe it won't short in this position. You let it play for a couple hours, and maybe nothing will happen. Who knows? While it's working, let's have some fun with it here. Okay, so we're on an outdoor antenna.
Answers live. If you'd like to call in, call 1-888-31-TRUTH.
Don't miss the good fight. Members of the Psychotherapy Association will share their upcoming conference on restoring the beauty of the human person, psychological healing through the light of Christ. That's the good fight, Saturday, 2 p.m. Eastern on EWT.
Let's try something else. See if we can pick up something else.
Radio, from many parts of the world, is the only way to get news, entertainment, and Christian programming. Our radio missions program
With our brothers and sisters of other churches.
Lots of religious broadcasts.
South Bend, Indiana, 466.
Another one. Well, it's working pretty good, I'd say, wouldn't you? Wait till you see the next piece of this thing. haven't even brought it in the shop yet. There's more than just the radio here to work on. Go down the other end of the band. Oh. It's French. But I'm tuning this without, having a knob on here. It's tough to tune this little tiny shaft. If you've seen my personal radios, Hammerland SP600 and the Carlson R390A, they have big knobs on them. I'm talking big knobs, and especially the Hammerland. It's beautiful. But this is working quite... Whoa! Oh, that was the signal generator. What? Was it? Let's turn the radio down. No.
Teaches Catholics how to share the message of faith. The upcoming workshop is scheduled for November 15th.
Wow, that's a strong signal. If I pull the plug, there's the plug. I'll plug it back in.
Christian work should focus primarily on spreading God's love rather than just...
These are standard powerful transmitters. 100,000 watts, 200,000 watts, 50,000 watts would be small.
Let's look at it right now.
Mostly they're located in the States.
Research survey. Over half of all children between the ages of 6 and 17 have read at least one Harry Potter book, with thousands reporting multiple readings of all of the books. These volumes range anywhere from 309 to 734 pages. While many parents are thrilled by the prospect of their children taking an interest in reading, other parents and educators view Harry Potter as the latest tool being used to disciple children into the darkest aspects of black magic. Through Harry Potter books and audios, children as young as kindergarten age are being introduced to human sacrifice, the sucking of blood from dead animals.
Okay. I'm hoping you heard all that too and are just about as amazed as me that anybody would even say those things.
You participate with your questions about apologetics and evangelization, including the most important.
Very good. I'm real happy with that. That's right across the band. No hum. No hum. So can't do much about a hum if it's not there. Well, what we can do is we can get on to the next section. And I'll show you the next piece in the next video.